Greetings, Libra and Libra rising. This is your Western forecast for February 2025. Overall, this is a really fortunate month, professionally and personally. Venus is your ruling planet. Your ruling planet is what pulls you towards your life purpose. Venus, the planet of love and desire and creativity, will be transiting your 7th house of marriage and partnerships and contracts. That's just, you will attract people to you. It's great for negotiations. But onward, the new moon is where I always start, is in Aquarius, an air sign, favorable with Libra, an air sign. And this new moon is on January the 29th, but it impacts as the major theme through the entire month of February. Aquarius is 5 signs past Libra. The new moon marks where our attentions and priorities are most directed. The 5th house is the sector of entertainment, romance, parties, sports. It's a very playful area of the chart. Could also put an emphasis on children, on romance. And this new moon is in harmony, called a trine, to Jupiter. So for the whole world, this new moon is going to bring a lot of opportunities and optimism. That's because of the Jupiter. Now, Mars has been retrograde, and it's going to go direct in your 10th house of careers, February 23rd. Jupiter has been retrograde and will go direct February the 4th in Gemini, the other air sign, very favorable to Libra. In many ways, this Jupiter in Gemini with the new moon in Aquarius, both forming trines to your Libra sun or rising sign, is, for the most part, is setting up what we call a grand trine, the most auspicious flow of energies. So in many ways, Libra is the luckiest of all the signs for this month. And the Jupiter is it's in Gemini, and Gemini is 9 signs past Libra. So all that opportunity and luck and growth of Jupiter with the 9th house is long distance traveling, higher education, publishing. The Mars is going to go direct in your 10th house of careers. And here's the Venus hanging out in your 7th house of partnerships and contracts. So before I break all this down, because there's all this overall really fortunate month, but you got to grab the opportunity and run with it. But there's plenty of opportunities for advancement in personal and professional relationships. But before I break this down and get into more detail, if you enjoy these kinds of videos and would like to see more of them, click like and subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so you can receive the latest postings. All right, so the new moon is where our priorities are most directed in your 5th house, being very supported by optimistic, lucky, prosperous Jupiter. Now the 5th house, and I've listed a number of the domain areas that could bring you a lot of luck and optimism. The 5th house is also the sector of gambling or speculation or the stock market. So because of the Jupiter, you could do very well with investments, with speculation, or playing the lottery. Now, it's almost impossible using astrology to say who's going to win. But this is a really favorable time for gambling. So why not? Now, Mars is the ambitious, assertive planet. It went retrograde in Leo, December the 6th, 2024. As it was retrograding and moving backwards into the first week of January, it retrograded back into Cancer until April the 17th. But from the beginning of January till February 23rd, it's still retrograde in Cancer. Retrograde is causing all these delays and more effort and more aggravations and frustrations to achieve your goals. But come February the 23rd, it moves direct, releasing all this pent-up energies and being motivated to be more ambitious and driven. But Cancer is 10 signs past Libra. And the 10th house in astrology is career. It's your professional reputation. It's visibility. It could be fame, gaining a great deal of recognition at your work. But here's Mars. Now, Mars wants to go through all the signs every 2 years. It retrogrades once every 2 years. So from the beginning of December towards the end of February, now it's retrograde. And retrograding now in your 10th house of careers. So there's all this, it's just taking so much more effort. There's more delays. Everything's more on hold. You may just be so exhausted with Mars in retrograde. But then when it goes direct on February 23rd, it's like being shot out of a cannon. You've been so frustrated with all the delays that you just really go for it. But it's all with career. Now, the Jupiter has been retrograde. Well, Jupiter went into Gemini around June last year, forming the trine, favorable energies to Libra, but in your 9th house. So one of the things, Jupiter seeks knowledge, but Jupiter likes travel. So from last end of May going into June, there could have been a lot of opportunities for publishing, for more education, or traveling. Now, October the 8th, 2024, Jupiter went retrograde. So until February the 4th. So all these areas that Jupiter's bringing in the promise and the opportunities with education, getting that degree, going, traveling, publishing, marketing, even legal matters, that's the 9th house. But Jupiter would bring in a lot of luck and prosperity with it. So all those 9th house matters would have been more delayed or not, or what was promised could have been still happening, but smaller. But February the 4th, now Jupiter goes direct, releasing its promises until June the 9th. So a lot of things that you might have been working on can start to manifest through all these 9th house matters. Now, let's combine the 5th house could be entertainment, sports, romance, but let's look at the 5th house as a creative or entertainment direction or goal. Or could be investing and speculating. So it doesn't have to be entertainment. Maybe it's speculating on a new startup company. So that could be the 5th house emphasis through all of February. Then you add in ambitious, assertive Mars, still sluggish, but until February 23rd, in your 10th house of careers, until April the 17th. So aggressive, assertive Mars, when it goes direct in your 10th house of careers, you're becoming very confident, very ambitious, initiating important major career projects that with the 5th house could be an entertainment, or the 5th house could be a startup, could be this speculation. Then we bring in Jupiter, that now is direct February the 4th, in the 9th. So the 9th is that publishing and the marketing and the higher education and the international traveling. So if we look at the Mars in the 10th house of careers, with the 5th house taking a risk, taking a gamble, and it could, or that risk and gamble could also could be in the field of entertainment or giving birth to a creative project, because the 9th house is also publishing. So this would be ideal for starting or finishing the whole process of publishing a book, or doing media or film and getting that out to the world. But certainly the 5th house is pleasurable, vacations, parties, and then the 9th house is all that traveling. So you could also be doing some international long-distance traveling in February, or you could be setting up a major trip. Now, with all that said, here's your ruling planet Venus hanging out February the 4th through March the 27th in your 7th house of marriage and partnerships. But it goes retrograde March the 1st, which is why Venus is in Aries for like twice as long, because it's got to slow down, stop, retrograde. But the point of that is, from February the 4th to the very end of February, as Venus is slowing down at the very end of February, it's almost at a standstill. That Venus, as it's slowing down and going slower and slower, becomes very intensified. But it's this beautiful, benefic energies of Venus. Because it's slowing down, it's intensifying, getting stronger in your 7th house. And with the 5th, now let's go back to the 5th house. The 5th house can mean romance. And Venus is the loving, romantic planet, the ruler of Libra, and it's going to be hanging out in your 7th house of partnerships and marriage. And in February, it's slowing down and becoming more intensified. So if you're in a current relationship, you could become more intimate, closer, more romantic. The 5th house is also children. You might even be conceiving or giving birth to a child. And that could bring the partnership, the marriage, even more closer and more intimate. But if you're single and looking, this is an ideal month to be starting a relationship. Now, next month, when Venus is retrograde, then reevaluating, did I make the right choice? If it can last through the reevaluating testing period of Venus in retrograde and in March, then you may have a long-term relationship. But it's certainly in February, if you're single and looking, you could be very much taken and infatuated by somebody. Now, this could even happen traveling or on vacation, because of that Jupiter in the 9th of the travel and the Sun in the 5th of romance and vacations and parties. And here's this beautiful Venus just intensifying, wanting a connection, wanting an attraction. Now, the new moon is always followed 2 weeks later by a full moon. So the full moon's on February the 12th. It's in Leo, a fire sign, positive with Libra. But it's putting a real emphasis. The full moons brings a lot of things to light, a lot of culminations. In your 11th house, Leo is 11 signs past Libra. The 11th house can mean friendships, group activities, going on a tour, maybe going on setting up a group tour, because the 5th house is the vacationing, the 9th house is the international travel, the 11th house could be friends, going out with friends, or joining a group and going on a tour. But this full moon is being squared by unpredictable, surprising Uranus. So there could be this big unexpected surprise around the 12th from a friend, because the full moon's in the 11th house of friendships. Could be with an organization, that's the 11th house. Could be all these unexpected changes going on. But the 11th house also represents your long-range goals. And might be a big surprise that shows up around the 12th that could very well be redirecting your major goals, but in a very positive way. So, this is a great month for romance, whether you're falling in love or falling in love all over again with your existing relationships. It's really favorable for taking a big risk in business and could be gaining a lot of recognition. I want to thank you for watching. If you'd like information on how to book an astrology reading or to check out my 2-question offer, visit my website at gardino.co. That's .co. Until next month, be safe and well.